There we go.
Recording in progress.
Since you and Kathy are here, we have 2 personnel board members.
Okay.
And if we get a third, we'll have to ask one of them to leave.
Okay.
If we, before the discussion, that includes the personnel.
I can hear it through your computer speaker. Okay.
So we don't get another meeting.
Yeah, hold on. Are you ready? Yeah, I'm gonna ask Kathy or someone on screen, can you just let us know you can hear us?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting of the Shutesbury Selectboard to order. Today is Tuesday, September 10th. This meeting is a hybrid meeting, so we have the Select Board, the Town Administrator, and some guests here in the Town Hall, and other folks who are participating remotely. So the first item is to review the agenda. After that, we will take public comment. We have 2 sets of select board minutes, August 13th and August 22nd to review. Then after that, we have a guest, Lynn Feldman from LifePath, who's going to make a presentation to the select board and the public. And we have an appointment of a cultural council member. After that, scheduling of the FinCom rep and personnel board rep meeting with the select board regarding TA contract. Then the historical commission is coming in to meet with the select board to discuss the guide board. Then Google Calendar, we have a request for a townwide birthday party, town administrator updates, and then the last item on the agenda is an executive session for reason number 3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the government's litigating position. The litigation is specific to a complaint received from Coles regarding the Shutesbury solar bylaw, Pure Sky and Coles, with special counsel, actually it will just be with town council tonight. Okay.
And is the planning board joining?
They are not,
Okay.
because I have a memo from them.
Okay.
Yes, so the neither the planning board or the special counsel will be here for the executive session. So, as I said, the first item is to, I'm going to open it up for public comment, and I ask that you limit your comments to 2 to 3 minutes and not address anything that's on the agenda this evening, but rather just make public comment. And then again, a reminder, during the public comment period, we do not engage in a dialogue. We just take your public comments and whatever, review them. So if you could use the raised hand feature, there aren't so many people here tonight, but use the raised hand feature if you do have a public comment, and I will call on you. So Mary Jo, your name is up there as Melody, but we know you as Mary Jo.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm speaking not just for myself, but on behalf of the 104 Shutesbury residents who signed the petition sent to you last week regarding glyphosate spraying for knotweed control. And because I'm representing the concerns of myself and many others, I hope you'll afford me about 5 minutes for these comments.
If you have written comments, you could submit them. So I would actually, we have a pretty full agenda. We do have, so if you could kind of summarize it, but we will take written comments and
Sure, I will send them to you. Thank you. Yeah, I wrote it out to make sure I didn't take any more time than I was supposed to. So our petition asks for a temporary moratorium on foliar glyphosate spraying for knotweed control on town property and calls for a less toxic plan to be put into place. The petition gains support every day and as of now has 211 supporters, including at least 104 Shutesbury residents. Of the 211, there are at least 3 health professionals with public health backgrounds, 2 wetland scientists, attorneys, and many residents from our neighboring communities. Even Michael Pill, a local land use attorney, signed this petition. This much concern expressed after just a couple posts on Nextdoor over a period of only 3 weeks is, I think, worthy of the select board's attention and response. We also sent the select board information about the human health and environmental risks of using glyphosate in the proposed manner. For those unfamiliar with this chemical, glyphosate is the key ingredient in the herbicide Roundup. It is a toxic chemical that harms human health and the environment. Glyphosate exposure has contributed to hundreds of billions of dollars in court-ordered damages in recent years, and it is a dangerous substance that harms human health, native habitat, homeowner properties, and wetlands. It's our understanding that conversations have begun to develop permit applications to the Conservation Commission for spraying projects near wetlands. And there has been some discussion about applying for CPA funds for this project. Before plans for foliar spraying with glyphosate proceed any further, we are asking the select board, under its authority, to take the time to consider developing a lesser toxic integrated knotweed management plan that everyone in the town can agree upon. We share concerns about the expansion of unwanted species disrupting native species and habitat in Shutesbury, but we believe that there may be a better way than using glyphosate that can be implemented as a community building project within neighborhoods. For the more difficult stands of knotweed to manage, having community support would be preferable and allow us to spray less if it even proved necessary at all. We think it would be worthwhile to try because spraying has only a short-term impact and does not fully eradicate knotweed stands. Resulting ongoing efforts to manage knotweed will potentially lock the town into an escalating cycle of repeated spraying and ever-increasing damage to human health, as well as soil, water, and the native plants and insects that we need to protect.
Mary Jo, I hate to stop you, but I know we probably have other public comments this evening, so if you could submit your comments, and I know we got at least one email on this, so I appreciate your.
And if I could just skip to the end. I mean, I wasn't going to talk more about harms of glyphosate. That's all I have to say about that. The further part that I want to talk to you about is a little bit about process. Let me see what I could potentially leave out.
Let me just does anybody else want to make a public comment this evening? Okay, you have another couple of minutes, then go ahead.
Thank you.
Anybody else has been
It like two. So if the select board does decide to use glyphosate on town property in the future, it is our hope that at minimum people who might be impacted be informed. This is accepted common courtesy and has been done with signage by private landowners since the beginning of lawn spraying decades ago. In the context of the town, signage is about transparency, in addition to being necessary to protect the health of children and pets that play and interact with the soil and plants more than adults who might be walking by. As far as I know, existing knotweed stands in Shutesbury do not currently constitute a public safety threat. Herbicides and pesticides do. Therefore, if they must be used, similar to the opt-out available for spraying for mosquitoes, we would further recommend that the town implement abutter notifications and an abutter opt-out procedure so that residents could object to herbicide spraying on roads and rights of way near them unless there's a legitimate threat to public safety. In our cover letter, we asked for an agenda item that would allow us to speak with you and make a presentation regarding the hazards of using glyphosate. Given that the Subduing Knotweed Coalition and its goals and strategies have come into the larger public view only in the last few weeks, and that so many of us are opposed to spraying, it seems that allowing an opportunity for greater community participation and comment during the planning process and seeking broader agreement, if not community consensus on, and participating in implementing solutions would be desirable. If you agree, we would like to make a presentation for your consideration at the scheduled meeting with additional information and suggestions and updated guidance from scientific experts about options other than glyphosate for management of knotweed in the immediate future. That's all. Thank you.
All right, nobody else said that they were going to have any public comments, is that correct? Leslie, it has to be really short because I asked in order to, because we have something else scheduled, so. Make it brief.
She's muted.
You're muted, Leslie.
Okay, thank you. I also sent you an email today and sent it to all the committees I could possibly think of. And I just wanted to add one more thing besides the transparency, is that I think Shutesbury is considered a green community. To me, being a green community would not include spraying pesticides, insecticides, or any carcinogenic substance. And last but not least, we have goats and pigs in our town that can eat the knotweed, which also is effective at getting rid of it. I have friends who have used that successfully. So that would save the town money. It would also protect the health, not only of our town and the environment, but all these chemicals heat up the planet. So it would lessen our carbon footprint and also protect the people who are applying it. Thank you for your consideration.
Your comments, and we did get your email. Thank you. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is to review the select board minutes, and we have two sets of minutes, August 13th and August 22nd. So do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of August 13th?
So moved.
Second.
Any edits, comments? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
KP Sonia, aye.
Stucker,
Farrell, aye. And we have minutes from August 22nd. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of August 22nd?
So moved.
second.
Any comments, additions, deletions? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
KP Sonia, aye.
Stucker,
Farrell, aye. All right, so the next item is we have a guest this evening. Lynn Feldman from Life Path is going to give us a presentation, and I don't know the subject of the presentation, but so I will turn it over to you, Lynn, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Lynn
Do you
Feldman.
want to pull up just because you're speaking to that?
Sure, talk to the owl.
Yeah, talk to the
Speak
owl.
to the owl.
That's right.
My name is Lynn Feldman. I'm the Associate Executive Director at LifePath. I'm here to talk with you tonight about the Age and Dementia-Friendly project. LifePath is the area agency on aging for Shutesbury, as well as 29 other communities in Franklin County and the North Quadrant. That means we provide care coordination, home care services, information, Meals on Wheels, primarily for people over the age of 60, but also folks with disabilities and caregivers as well. In addition to that work where we're helping people to age in place, we also have the Age and Dementia Friendly Project, which was an effort to kind of re-envision, how our communities are supporting people as they age, because we have a lot of folks who are over age 60 in our community, and that number is growing. And our communities want to be able to support those folks to age in place as fast as they can, provide everybody what they need as they age. So in order to do that, back in 2019, we kicked off the Age and Dementia Friendly Project. Basically what this means is it's a World Health Organization model that looks at 8 domains that communities of things communities can do to support aging well. And following the World Health Organization model, which is actually applied by AARP in the United States, we embarked on this 3-year planning process. So in that process, the idea is creating communities where, that are places that make it easier for older people to stay connected to people that are important to them, help people to stay healthy and active. And in this project, the first step was letters of commitment from all communities, and Shutesbury signed a letter of commitment to this in 2021. You may remember Noor Al-Khattabi-Strout coming to speak with you. He was the previous program manager, and he was probably the one who told you all about the project and got Shutesbury to sign on as one of 30 towns in the area to sign on. The next phase was a needs assessment and action planning, where we communicated with over 2,000 people across the 30 towns, including a lot of folks in Shutesbury. Got feedback from them through surveys and focus groups, and that information was analyzed by some work groups who came together and looked at the different domains and determined sort of what are the core issues across the community that are critical to supporting people as they age. Define sort of the key problem areas, and then from that, the steering committee, which is also made up of residents of various communities, developed an action plan. So I'm here tonight to talk with you about the action plan and to hear, what your questions you have, what ideas you might have for supporting the residents of Shutesbury as they get older, as we all get older, in ways of sort of aging well. So this is the, when we completed the age and dementia-friendly action plan, we submitted to AARP. You all probably received a copy of the certificate. I have another one for you. This is Shutesbury's certification that you're officially an age and dementia-friendly community. And you also would have gotten a copy of this in the mail, but I have extras if people want to take a look. And this is what we'll be talking about tonight. Did you all like? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So I had 4 copies that I brought. Hopefully that will do. So what I'd like to do with our time tonight, and I'll keep an eye on the clock, is just to kind of walk briefly through this plan and identify if you have questions, areas where you need some support, or things you've already accomplished. And I know Shutesbury actually has done already a lot that's in this action plan that we can take a moment and celebrate as well. So the action plan, again, is divided up into the eight domains. And so if we go to, I've sort of gone through the introduction and background, there's a community profile. So if we go to page 6, this describes the 8 domains of livability. You can see there in the top, the domains start with the top center at 12 o'clock noon, outdoor spaces and buildings, transportation, communication and information, civic participation and employment, respect and social inclusion, health services and community supports, and social participation. And these categories support most of the needs that people experience as they age. We all need these things. The problem statements are outlined here that the work groups identified, and these were sort of the things we were trying to solve when we developed the action plan. So I thought we would start maybe focus on a couple of the particular domains which are of specific interests to select boards in particular, because these are things that you all can be doing as a governing body to support residents as they age. So for example, domain number 1, this is on page 9, outdoor spaces and buildings. The goal that was identified was to improve access to town parks and public facilities for all residents equitably. So the idea is to have an accessible to all physical environment for every resident in town, including things like parks and public facilities, to comply with the ADA standards. And there are some specific action items that we identified through our process that towns can do to support this. So for example, action step 1, provide towns with ADA audits for recreation and public facilities. And you can see the way this is formatted is under each action step, we have a lead organization implementing partners, resources, and measurement of success. So trying to sort of identify who's doing what and who's responsible for what. So ADA audits improve walkability of local communities by increasing the number of towns engaged in the Complete Streets program, which I know you all are already engaged with, so you can check that one off the list. And working with town recreation committees, open space committees to incorporate age-friendly elements into open space and recreation plans. Assisting towns to implement age-friendly recommendations from open space and recreation plans to expand access to physical activities, natural areas, places to gather for all residents equitably. So this might mean, creating wheelchair accessible outdoor facilities or the like. And action step 5 is to work with council on aging to conduct walk audits and develop programs to expand access to walking for all residents. A lot of people in our surveys identified the need and the wish to be able to walk safely in their communities. So most in Domain 1, Franklin Regional Council of Governments, which is our main partner in this effort, it has a lot of resources to support. Any questions so far?
The pathways for wheelchairs, are they usually just crushed stone or paved?
They can be crushed stone and still be considered ADA accessible, but if you have a specific area that you're looking at or a specific path, thing to do would be to do an ADA or walkability audit of that, and FERCog can help you with that if you have an interest in a particular trail or recreation.
Thank you.
The other thing is that, just mentioned that LifePath, and the reason I'm here is that there's, instead of a program director or NOR, is that the grant ran out for the Age Adventure Friendly project, but we have received new funding. So we'll be hiring a program director who will be able to provide more active technical assistance to towns. And we'll also have some grant dollars to give to towns to work on projects. So that will be, if funding is needed for a certain thing, this project should be able to provide some support. Domain number 2, transportation, really is focused around things that communities can do that look at things like volunteer transportation. Obviously, this action plan focuses on things that don't cost a lot of money, that aren't rebuilding the entire public transportation infrastructure. You all have access to Village Neighbors, which is one of the programs that we're looking at trying to support through the action plan to make sure that they have enough volunteer drivers to be able to support everyone in Shutesbury that might need a ride. So I won't go through all of the action steps in Domain 2. You can take a look at those. In Domain 3, housing, there might be some things to talk about here because the goal is to create accessible older adult housing options with input from older adults and increase awareness of current options, especially those with particular lived experience of discrimination or disability. And the action steps here, again, it's not about necessarily, although we do need to build new housing, this is really about things that communities can do at low cost to increase the age friendliness of housing. So for example, researching and distributing information on municipal policy barriers. So we want to understand more about housing affordability through zoning ordinance in Franklin County. We want to advocate for zoning that supports more affordable and accessible housing options, which is, for example, accessory dwelling units, which I know Shutesbury does. I believe you allow both attached and detached ADUs through special permit, which is a very age-friendly policy, so well done on that, and that would satisfy your action step 2. We want to advocate for state funding that supports more affordable housing options in rural areas, and we want to work with towns on older adult housing that is suitable to older adults. And we're working both with Franklin Regional Council of Governments and the Housing Authority on those activities. There's a few more action steps that involve some of LifePath's programming. We're also looking to help builders understand how to do age-friendly building. For example, if you're renovating a bathroom, a great time to make a house potentially age-friendly is at that time when you're renovating it, because you can install certain types of studs and infrastructure that will enable you to better, for example, add rails and things like that, so like safety rails, grab bars, and so forth. And home repair is also another important thing for folks. We know that was a big need that came up in the needs assessment, was just having support for home maintenance and repair.
So I had a question,
Yeah.
just, so within those action steps, like supporting home safety and home repair programs, where, is there any discussion about where funding might come from, or is it simply, we could provide you technical assistance about what you have to do? But if you have a low-income household that needed help, I know the Housing Authority in the past has had some housing rehab programs that have, I don't know how much has been done in Shutesbury, what the volume is, but is there funding behind any of those initiatives?
Yes, and Action Step 7 in particular, LifePath, in fact, we just fulfilled a grant to Village Neighbors to do home repair work. So they have a home repair program. So the first call that folks should make if they need small home repair is to Village Neighbors. If that doesn't work, folks can call LifePath, and we may have some funding available for smaller projects. For larger projects, there is a partnership with Community Action of the Pioneer Valley Loan LifePath Home Modification Program, where people can get zero-interest loans and things like that to do more major renovations of homes. So we can get you like the listing if you want to include it on your town website or something like that, because that would give people an idea of who to call if they need that support.
Yeah, that would be great. And if there's already a kind of established outline that we can just not recreate something to be able to put up. Because I know in the past there was information on the homepage, like when we had the home repair program through the Housing Authority. But this sounds more like there are more options. So
There are a few.
that would be really great to have up on our website.
Yeah, I can follow up on that.
Okay.
So and I know, just looking at the time, a domain for social participation, I'm just gonna skip over some of those things we know that the councils on aging, villages are doing work along that. You all are free to sort of take a look at these on your own time. Respect and social inclusion is domain 5, and there are some particular things we'd like to do. For example, we can provide some technical assistance around how to become more dementia friendly as a community. If you're interested in that, we have a trainer that we work with. I'll talk a moment on domain 6 on page 16, civic participation and employment. The goal is to increase equitable opportunities for civic participation and employment for all older adults. And action step 1 on this is to encourage towns that do not currently have a senior tax work-off program to establish one. And I'm not sure, do you all have a senior tax work-off program?
No,
Okay.
I looked into it.
So that might be something to
Well,
consider.
Yeah, we have something available, but it's pretty limited, and the amount of money that we can make is very small, and it's very restricted what they can do. And the people that have looked into it, I haven't found anyone who qualified for it yet
Okay.
that has come forward.
So this can be a good way to get people engaged and involved in helping their communities and also relieve some of the tax burden for older adults. But so it's considered an age-friendly best practice. And we can help you if you want to revise your senior tax work-off program or revive it, we can support that if you're interested. Okay. Make public meetings as accessible as possible. And provide pathways to meaningful employment. So it looks like you guys are, you're making the meeting accessible remotely and online right now. There might be people who are hard of hearing, that's important to consider. So if you can do things in your meetings like have closed captioning, things like that can really help folks. And remember, during town meetings, people can't just shout and expect to be heard. We really need to remind people to use the microphones and things like that so that everyone can participate. And then I'll sort of wrap up with domain 7, which is communication and information, and just say that if there was one theme that emerged from this needs assessment, it was really people feel like they don't know where to go for help, they don't really understand the resources. But we did notice that in the towns where there was a robust town newsletter, that problem was less. So we are recommending that folks consider a town newsletter or some kind of resource for residents to help them stay engaged and up to date about what's happening, how to get assistance, social opportunities, learning opportunities, volunteer opportunities, all of that.
We have a quarterly, well, we have one 3 times a year, but we only got it out twice last year.
Yeah.
And the council on aging has their own directed specific each group.
The Gazette.
Great. So don't underestimate the importance of those documents, and we saw it in the data, and the importance of making sure that they get into people's hands in print. If people aren't on the internet, it's important that people have the option to get a print copy and to include complete information in those. And if you're interested in, having more sort of social resources or social support resources in your newsletter, to include more information about how to access home care services or Meals on Wheels or anything that folks might need, we can help with that because we are pretty well connected with those all the different social service agencies and the resources that are available to Shutesbury residents and the benefits that they can access, like fuel assistance and SNAP benefits and all those kinds of things. So let us help if you'd like to sort of take a look, but that's a really great thing to be doing is those newsletters. And then Domain 8 is Health Services and Community Supports. You can take a look at that. We're really looking to do increase digital literacy, help people learn to use computers, and there's a lot happening in this domain, which I don't have time to tell you all about today. But a lot of interesting things happening around digital access. For example, trainings around how to help people use those patient portals, which can be great if you know how to use them. If you don't, they're a huge headache. So trying to make sure that everybody can use this because they're a really great tool to manage your health care. So I'll stop and ask if folks have questions, ideas, suggestions, ways that you all think that you might want to work towards age or dementia friendly or support that you might need in the future. Melissa, Eric?
Yeah.
I have a question, I'll jump
Go
in.
ahead.
Yeah.
Just in terms of walkability, it's such a challenge in small communities. I was wondering do we have any sidewalks anywhere?
Well, down by the
At
school where
the
they're
school,
perfect.
there's half of one that's
Right,
surviving.
right, and then we have the little walking track. Have any communities thought through, sort of creative ways to deal with that?
Yeah, so a couple of things come to mind. One is that Warwick is a town that's similar to Shutesbury in that there are exactly 0 sidewalks. They have created a senior walking group where they walk in numbers. And so even if they're doing it and it's getting dark in the wintertime at 4 p.m., because they are in numbers, they feel safer walking without the sidewalks, and they choose a route that is less well-traveled. There's also, in Petersham where I live, when they did the open space plan, they actually had invited community members to come in and draw on maps where they currently walk or where they don't walk but would like to, because if it comes time during either complete streets or another planned opportunity where a sidewalk could be created, you want to have that information so that you can pick and choose, because you can't sidewalk the whole community. You're going to have to pick, and maybe there's a route that could be created in the center of town that would support that. So those are a couple of ideas. It's a real challenge in a lot of communities that we work with. But if you have a walking track, that maybe something.
Yeah, it's at the elementary school, and you can't do it when school is in
Right.
session, and it's just is it a quarter of a mile around?
I haven't
I think
used
so.
it.
I have.
Yeah.
I've done it a few times. It's kind of muddy. I don't, maybe there's an opportunity with the library of even thinking about trails back from the library.
There are trails.
There are
already.
trails back there. So that might be something to,
It seems like people will walk in groups in places that are less than ideal for walking.
our roads are really pretty narrow, except
But there's so many people walking on.
there are a
it,
lot of people walking.
And it's
Yeah.
kind of frightening. I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of worry, especially, you
Yeah.
know, when
At dusk,
carriages
yeah.
and not seeing people
Yeah.
going around a
We'll
corner.
tap into your complete streets information too, because they can suggest things like speed humps that will actually make it safer for pedestrians, even if there aren't sidewalks, to manage this speed limit. I know people kind of whiz through Shutesbury. I accidentally do that once or twice myself. And I, you know, have to remember, like, this is a community where people are walking their dogs. I saw somebody walking their dog, so I'm like, okay, you know, this is really important to stick to that speed limit. But so there are ways that maybe you can make walking on this shoulder of the roads more safe, but the complete streets would be a good resource.
Okay, thank you.
What sort of, and I haven't read through this, what sort of services do you have for someone who might need a personal attendant or something in their own home?
There's a lot of options for people who might need a personal care attendant. LifePath can serve pretty much anybody with a disability who needs some support with that. And there's a couple ways they can do that. One is that there's a state-funded home care program where we actually do the care coordination, and we would actually engage with a vendor to come to that person's home. Or there's the personal care attendant program, which would support a person to hire and fire their own PCAs and use like a directory that we maintain of PCAs that are available. There's a few different options to it.
Have you found it difficult to get PCs to want to work in the smaller communities and rural,
Yes.
areas like this?
It can be a little bit more of a longer wait for a town like Shutesbury for someone on home care list, although that has gotten better in the past, I would say 12 months. For a while, right after the pandemic, at least, there was pretty long wait lists. But that's pretty much resolved at this point. And especially on the home care program, if someone's willing to work with a variety of different PCAs, can work well. The other thing that can work is if someone knows someone, like a neighbor or a niece or nephew who might be willing to serve as a PCA, there might be money that could make that relationship, long-term, stable, long-term sustainable. So the thing to do, we just call. I'm really not an expert. There's people who answer the phone at LifePath who know a lot more about this than me. But yeah, options are available, and we serve people with any income as well. So if you're low income or lower income, you probably would get access to free services, and if you have higher income, you may pay a sliding scale of some kind.
Okay, I just want to, if there's anybody in the public, we have like a couple of minutes. Any questions for Lynn? Good, well, thank you so much for coming. I learned a lot tonight, and I think there's some follow-up steps that we could definitely take, and we'll probably be back in touch.
That'd be great. I'm gonna leave some cards behind. You all know how to reach me. And then the next step will be, you'll probably receive our newsletters about, there'll be a program director that's hired, who will be in touch with you guys, offering technical assistance and, potentially grant funding. If you have something in particular, like a crushed stone trail or something like that you want to work on, or benches, or doing a Better Town newsletter, whatever, there may be some resources available to do some of those things. So you'll hear about that from us. And I really appreciate you inviting me to come today, and for all the work that you all have done so far as to be part of this project. It's really exciting to see people, getting excited and doing things in communities that prioritize the need of older adults, because we're all aging and we're all gonna
A few of us fall in that category.
need some
We're well represented here.
And in Shutesbury as well. I know you have a lot of older folks here, as well as in my town as well. And in some ways, we're different than the rest of Massachusetts in that sense, because we're actually, our older population is growing even more quickly. So we need to be leaders on this and show the rest of the state how, we support older adults with really strong, good municipal policy, good programs, and what we see our role is bringing resources into the community to make some of these things possible. So that's what we'll keep working on.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your time.
And I know that Martha Barbara was on early, the chair of the Council on Aging, and something must have happened technologically or
Oh.
something, but she was on earlier, and because she was hoping to attend, but we did this on YouTube, so she'll be able to see the video.
And she should feel free to follow up. I'd be happy to just have a conversation with her directly if that's helpful at any time about this. I left my cards in the car, so I'm gonna go grab them and do that. But I'll let you all carry on with your meeting, and thank you for the time.
Okay, great, thanks, yeah.
Thank you, Lynn.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the select board appointment of a cultural council member.
Which is Cheryl Hayden.
Well, Cheryl has joined us this evening. Welcome, Cheryl, again. I'm not somebody else here from the cultural
I
council?
don't see Carol Rostrom.
No, she emailed me that
She
her
wouldn't be able to.
husband's ill tonight, so
Oh, okay, that's why
Yeah.
she originally was planning to be here, but.
she was.
Okay, do you want to just introduce yourself, Cheryl? And
For those of you who don't know me,
yeah, some of us know you.
I'm Cheryl Hayden. I moved here, God, I think it's 6 years ago now, hard to believe. Anyway, and I've been involved in the cultural activities here in town a fair amount. So I was really honored when I was asked to join the council, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Excellent.
Great.
Yeah, they're a rowdy bunch sometimes. They do. But, you know, I remember when they were meeting upstairs in it used to be an empty office, it's now the accountants, but the whole building was full of laughter. But they got all their work done.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to appoint Cheryl Hayden as Shutesbury Cultural Council member?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Sonia, aye.
Stocker, aye.
Farrell, aye. Thank you, Cheryl, for your willingness to serve. And Cheryl needs to check in with Grace.
You do need to get appointed.
Yeah.
And, so
Sworn in.
Sworn in.
Yes.
You will have just gotten appointed.
Oh, yes. Did that for the police commission or whatever we were
Yes.
called. I don't remember anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you'll
Thank-
stop by Grace's office,
I
she'll
will.
packet again.
Okay, thanks
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
You're welcome to stay, but you don't have to.
No, you don't need my presence.
Thank you, Cheryl.
The next item is the scheduling of a meeting with the FinCom rep and personnel board regarding the select board, with the select board regarding the TA contract. And I know after discussion with town council, that what she recommended was that we have the FinCom rep, personnel rep, which both of whom have been appointed, I believe. FinCom is
George
George
Arvanitis.
Arvanitis, and personnel is Kathy Salvador.
Yes, and
Um,
that is online.
Right. So what she recommended was that we have one select board member and that Donna also participate with, because I think there are things to discuss about the contract. So I'm going to ask for a volunteer to.
Since I've been involved fairly closely with the contract part, I'm happy to do that. Also with Donna in connection with the contract part, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
If that makes sense to the two of you.
Okay. Who's here? Kathy's
Kathy's
here, but not George. So,
I can contact both of them and see when, and then coordinate with Donna.
okay. All
Do you
right.
have a time frame when you'd like it to?
No, I think it should get underway quickly. Do we need a vote on this to designate?
What, to be
Yes.
safe, why don't?
Okay. So do I hear a motion to designate Melissa Makepeace O'Neill as the select board rep?
So moved.
I'll second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Stocker, aye.
Ray Peaceman, aye.
Farrell, aye. So you'll take care of getting that scheduled? Okay, great. The next item on the agenda is the Historical Commission meeting with the Select Board to discuss the guide board. And Henry's here. Yeah. Let's see, anybody else? Janice? Janice Stone.
Stephen Thomas is here.
Stephen on the, Bert,
No,
you're on the
Stephen.
Historical Commission, right? Is Stephen on the?
No, he's on the building
Sure.
committee and the
Oh.
guide board
Hernandez
presented
is here.
2 weeks ago.
Okay, so is somebody gonna speak for the,
That would be
Henry.
me.
Henry, you are, okay.
He's the chair.
Greetings, everybody. I want to share a very brief presentation in the interest of efficiency. If you give me the sharing capacity.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm gonna adjust the, wait, one second, you can't see this, but I'm gonna adjust the volume just slightly.
How you doing, Henry?
I'm getting there. Just a second. I'm trying to get my this thing up on the screen. Ah. Well, I'm going to run through the my presentation without the visuals. 1 second.
Can you email it to Becky? Or do you have it, Becky?
I think we have it.
No. I actually have a.
I think I can get it up, Henry.
Can you see that at all? No.
No. Did you share screen? Did you press the green button?
Yeah, I did.
Sure.
But yeah, okay.
Hold on, let me check to make sure that's not something here, Henry, hold on. We're good.
I think so.
It's not hiding, no, that was me.
One more try here. Geez.
No, I didn't get it, but it's in his email. I can get it.
Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and speak to the presentation. So the guide board is undergoing restoration by Williamstown Art Conservation Center, otherwise known as WAC. Following the guidelines from the Massachusetts Historical Commission and the Secretary of the Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties. Completion date, 6 months to 1 year from now. It's undetermined at this point. Secondly, WAC recommended storing it indoors to preserve the piece. However, this seems impractical and inconsistent with preserving its historical function outdoors. WAC recommendation was covering it to protect from water damage, especially over the winter. I've been in touch with the Massachusetts Historical Commission, specifically the local government programs coordinator, and she didn't have a lot of recommendations, but she insisted that we not make a replica of this piece. And as far as the design goes, that the suggestion was essentially prioritize simplicity, viewability, and minimize the covering as much as possible. That was from Jen Doherty. So the the Historical Commission proposal is to create this gazebo with plexiglass siding over the winter months to be removed in late spring through early fall. This would protect from weather and provide maximum protection, providing considerable visibility of the guideboard. Minimize obstructing view from traffic meeting at the intersection, which is where it's mostly going to be seen. And remember, the common is raised. It's a slope. There's an upward slope on the common, so that increases its visibility. Placement to avoid interference with adjacent monuments. Simple structure that profiles the guideboard and blends in with surrounding buildings. These are the criteria. Minimize maintenance requirements using durable materials. And finally, deploy a model prior to construction to verify visibility from the adjacent roads and from the common. There's a list of materials. I won't bore you with them. I'll attach them, as well as the diagrams for how it would be built. Funding would essentially amount to about $5,000. Labor would be volunteer. Funding would come from CPA or CPC funds and the Historical Commission. We did get some input from the Buildings Committee, useful. We looked at other options. However, the guideboard is quite unique. There's one in New Salem. It's similar, not exactly the same, and it is out in the open. As far as a glass, something like a glass enclosure, it's beyond our technical skill set, and would likely involve moisture mitigation if it's covered that way. So finally, in conclusion, there are three options here, and we'd like the select board's input on it. One, go with the Historical Commission's proposal and apply for the CP funds by September 19th. This would involve, of course, the urgency to protect the guideboard from winter weather, since we don't know when the guideboard is going to come back. That's kind of a priority. We want to protect it from being out in the winter. The second option is to wait for another round of CPC funding. That would take another year. Would necessitate perhaps storing it over winter. Third option is to return the guideboard as is, given the investment that we've made, which has been paid for through CPC funds and Historical Commission funds. So there you have it.
So the building committee, I see Stephen Dalmas is here. The building committee met with the Historic Commission to discuss the design. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. A few weeks ago.
Okay, and do you have some?
Well, we had some, say, concerns, questions. One was when we were presented with this proposal, we also saw elevations and sections, well, I guess elevations of the gazebo and how it appears to interact with the signboard. And we were concerned that it seemed to, say, overwhelm the signboard. Second concern was, historically signboards aren't protected. I mean, I know of one other one in Montague, which is unprotected. I've seen others. I've never seen one protected. Also in their plan, the signboard and gazebo, or the signboard and the gazebo to protect it, are being moved, I think, 6 feet away from the corner, sort of headed towards the library. And I guess, the signboard is typically on the corner. So, that would be an easy thing to resolve. But I think the two main concerns were how the gazebo seemed to overwhelm the signboard, and the fact that historically signboards aren't protected.
And was there?
Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead, Bert. Just use the raise hand feature.
Okay. I think that the way that we set out to design the gazebo was for it to be simple, not to overwhelm the signpost. And I think we actually did a pretty good job of doing that. I don't think it would overwhelm the signpost. And the other thing is that it's okay that usually the signposts are out in the open, but when you spend $20,000 because this is a historical thing, and you don't protect it, then you're going to be looking at, in 10 years, 15 years, doing it all over again. So for that reason, because it's mostly a historical thing now, not really a practical thing, we thought that it would be good to protect it with a gazebo as the best option after considering what the feedback from the buildings committee and from the other involved agencies that we've been talking to. That's our best option. I mean, it's either that or leave it in the open and let it get decay again.
Thanks. Janice, do you have a comment?
I just wanted to say that the signboard in Montague is just a replica. So it's standing out there, and I don't know if that's the original spot or not. The New Salem one has a little plaque that talks about the number of different times people have repainted it and all, and it is not in the original place, but it's probably of similar vintage, I would guess, to the one that we have. But ours is pretty unique or unusual to be able to find. You can Google and not find anything. So we thought it was important to restore it, and it's an important symbol of the town. It's on some of the old postcards and letterheads and things like that. And so we thought it was an important feature to try to maintain. And the question is, what do we do if we don't put up the gazebo around it to keep it from deteriorating again?
Thanks, Janice. Questions?
How old is it? In other words, I'm a little confused about the, like Bert's discussion about like it's 10 or 15 years you have to do it again. I mean, I've lived here for 45 years. I remember we did it every 10 years to fix it.
It's
So
been done.
It's been done.
oh, I know it's been done, but not.
About every 15
Yeah.
years, it's been done 3 times.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is, I know you have to go to the CPC for funding, but ultimately it's under the jurisdiction of the select board, right? Because it's on the town common?
Yeah, it's a
Sure.
town. So you guys you know, if this is not a design you're comfortable with, it's your call.
It's a little hard to tell what it's gonna look like from that. So how top heavy is it? Like, it's a regular, it's a roof, I can't.
It's just gonna be a roof with 4 posts and
The plexiglass?
the plexiglass, that's a consideration that we've taken lately at the recommendation from the people who are renovating it.
I see.
You know, just to protect from the snow in the winter. But it is really a simple structure. We try to make it as simple as possible with the help of the architect, who happens to be my son, and from Ross Greco, who is a builder. You know, we set out to make it simple. I don't know how much more simple we can do it without not protecting, you know, without giving up on some of the protection for the signpost.
Okay, is the roof solid or is it the clear roofing?
I'm sorry?
Is the roof, I see the structure, it looks like it's metal roofing?
No, it's not metal roofing. It would be shingles. And just on the inside, it would be wood.
Oh, so what we're looking at here is the inside.
Yeah, that's tongue and groove from you know, from made from, that would be made from fir, Douglas fir.
You have a side view of that there, Bert?
I didn't put it up, so I don't.
Okay.
But there should be a side view, yes.
Yeah, there's a side view below this particular slide. There's a side view. You go down. There you go.
There we are. Okay,
This is a little bit
that's
more.
much better.
And we actually, yeah, just raise it.
Let me just.
And I can't see the dimensions from where I'm sitting. How tall is the structure? Not the roof part, but it looks as though it's pretty low.
No, it would be just above the height of the structure, which is about 82 inches. So it would be about 7 feet, which should be fine for anybody who is under 7 feet.
The building committee has trouble with that.
Yeah, in the picture, the structure, the gazebo looks as though it's going to dominate the structure, where it's not as open air as it looks, one might think. How tall is the guide board? Again,
How
I can't
tall?
read.
The guide board is 82 inches tall.
82 inches, and the height of the roof line, before the roof line of the gazebo, is the height of the post.
We figure we do it about 84 inches.
And it's 82 inches?
Yeah, and it would be really visible anyway, because it would be higher than the road and higher than most of the common. I mean, the placement would be.
I'm not sure, this is just my opinion, I'm not, if you're going to make it, it should be at least 1.5 feet or 2 feet above the top of the guide board.
That would look weird. That would look weird.
You want to explain why that is, Bert?
Well, that's the opinion of the architect, that if you make that really tall, not only would it look weird, but it would also not have as much protection. You know, the height of it is part of the reason why, you know, what's going to protect things from flying in, like water or snow or whatever.
And so with the plexiglass, if you put plexiglass around it and seal it up, what is there for airflow so that it doesn't end up rotting, because this is wood?
This was a new suggestion, just to put it on the sides. And we were thinking that maybe we'd just go partially up on the, putting it against the columns in such a way that it would be easy to take on and off.
And yeah, I think Henry said taking it on and off, like having it exposed in the
Yeah.
summer and spring and summer and fall, and then for the winter. So is the biggest concern like salt and snow, and is that
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. The idea would be to have openings at the top of the plexiglass and below it, so it'd be air. It wouldn't be
Right.
completely sealed.
right? Okay, Janice, I know you've had your hand up. Why don't you go ahead?
I just wanted to say, I believe the date of the monument is about 1913. I don't have my records with me, but it's something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Well,
You mean-
actually, it dates back to the 19th century, actually.
Yeah, I think it's about 180 years old.
Yeah, it's like 1830 something,
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
the original.
Becky, I know you had a question, and then Mary Lou, I'll take you after that. Are you, Becky, you all set?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Mary Lou?
Hi, yes, I'm Mary Lou Conca. Sorry, I'm coming in late. Is the Historic Commission asking you, the Select Board, for additional funds? Am I understanding that correctly or not?
No, they're not. They'll be seeking funds from the Community Preservation Committee, but the Select Board has oversight for anything on the town common, so we have to approve any kind of design structure that goes onto the town common.
Thank you.
I have a question for Steve Dalmas. At the meeting, there were really no concrete suggestions as to how an alternative to this. Do you have anything at this point?
No, I mean, we did not pursue, we haven't had a meeting since that meeting, and we haven't pursued any discussion about other options. I do have one question. If you are putting plexiglass on that, is that going to be a clear span from corner to corner? I'm wondering how thick the plexiglass would have to be, and it would seem that it would need some reinforcement. Plus, I guess, the other consideration is if you're putting the plexiglass on there, which will say capture the wind, or the wind will be blowing against it. How do you take that into consideration as far as the structure being able to absorb that kind of wind load?
Steve, after the meeting we had with you guys, with the building committee, that's when we got the feedback from you guys that you thought that it could be better protected and that we should consider other things. That's when we consulted the people in Williamstown and the Massachusetts Historical Commission, and this is the only other thing that they came up with that we could do. So we really haven't had a chance to think that through as to how high it's gonna be if we put any plexiglass on or not. How high, what it would cover, how we would attach it. We haven't thought about that. But that's one option on how to provide additional protection that came in as another suggestion.
Yeah, hello?
Okay, Henry, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually found what seemed to be the structure in Quebec City that Jeff Quackenbush was referring to, that is encased in glass, and that is a fairly substantial structure, and it's a climate-controlled glass encased Swiss giant Swiss clock. If that's what it is,
I don't think that's what he was referring to.
yeah, well, yeah, I just seem really beyond anything that, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Becky?
about that.
And then we're gonna have to move.
What Jeff described was, glass, building when he was in Quebec, there were different, objects that were put in glass enclosed structures.
Yeah.
100, 6-sided structures or whatever. And that's what was recommended potentially to look at, we didn't, we
Oh,
haven't.
because wind goes
Yeah.
around.
Well, we
Yeah.
checked it out. I mean,
It's not, you wouldn't have the roof, I think the roof line, the whole roof is, that close to the guide board, it really takes your focus off the guide board. And, so they were trying to think of something that wouldn't do that, where you wouldn't have to have the roof structure there. If you could do it with, a glass enclosure, potentially it would have to be, bulletproof glass, of course.
Yeah, right.
Temporary.
Or temporary, yeah.
And then you have the sun beating in on it and causing,
it was a moisture issue.
It's a moisture,
So,
right?
right, so
Moisture
then
comes up
you're
from underneath.
baking it in that case.
It would have to be modified to temperature.
So what's the pleasure
Yeah,
of
what did
the,
you decide tonight?
well, were you looking for a decision from the select board tonight in order to have that before you go before the CPC?
Well, I guess we were looking to see, I mean, as I mentioned, there are 3 options. We could drop it all together, put it back out there, or we could apply for the CPC funds to do this gazebo, or wait another year, figure out what to do with it in the interim when it comes back from the renovation.
So the CPC, this would be in a special round.
That's right. There's a special round here. Submission
Otherwise,
date is 19th September.
right.
Rita, are you gonna do a normal round as well as the
Yes,
special one?
yes, there would be a normal
I don't
round.
think Henry was aware of that.
Oh, Henry knows, yeah, because he's been on the, I mean, there'll be a regular round for the next annual town meeting. So there's a special, I think they wanted to come in because we already have another, we had the request from the regional schools.
I think he's concerned that, he's talking about waiting another year because he didn't realize there was an annual town meeting round.
Yeah, there'll be another round. It's, late winter, or I think the applications are due by mid-February or even end of January, and then they get recommended to town meeting at the annual town meeting.
I guess I may have misunderstood that. I was under the impression this was.
There are 2, I think there was the interest because if the guide board came back in January, to have something ready for the guide board in January. But there's not, this would be a special application. Okay, so, we're running behind here.
May I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Since we're behind? Let's skip over the Google Calendar to get the other things done, because we don't know when Donna's gonna pop in.
Okay.
Donna's here.
Okay.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, there she is.
So, Eric, Melissa, what do you wanna, ponder this and?
Yeah, I'd like to ponder, I wanna look at the plans a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like, Eric?
Yeah, well, part of me says it was started in let's say, let's pick the number 1830.
Yeah.
Why are we deciding in whatever this year is?
2024.
I'm
You're really dating yourself.
I know, sorry. I didn't know what date it is, but anyway.
Join the club.
You know what I mean, like
Yes.
that's just a general question to ask.
Yeah. Well, it's because we invested a lot of money
yeah, right.
into.
I
And
understand
prior to this, it's been, you know, not as extensive a restoration as
Right.
happened this time by professionals.
Right.
Okay, I think we will talk about this a little bit more, maybe at our next meeting, and if there's more information that select board members want to get, Henry, should they get in touch with you in terms of questions?
Sure.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for that information. Thanks to the historical commission members who've come this evening, and also to Steve Delmas for attending. So stay tuned. I think we all need to think about it a little bit. Okay, let's move on. We have a request for a townwide birthday party on the town common. I believe there was one of these last year, and oh, it'd be behind town hall and on the town common. It says. Describe, oh, parking site.
Oh, parking.
In this area.
Okay, all right. Deborah O'Brien is here. Are you here representing the party?
Yes.
You're the party girl?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there is a large group of women residents who get together, and we just thought it would be a fun thing to just invite the town and have fun.
Uh-huh, great. Fun is fun. All right, so you need the select board to sign off, and insurance stuff, Becky, is that all,
Yeah.
that's
we're
all
fine
kind of
with
covered?
that.
Okay.
Has Kristen and everybody signed up?
Yep.
Yep. And it's on October 6th?
Sunday afternoon,
Sunday afternoon, 3 to 5. Okay, so everybody put that on your calendar, 3 to 5, Sunday, October 6th. And there'll be cupcakes, ice cream, and cider. And do I hear a motion to approve the special event for the townwide birthday party? So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Questions? No? All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Maybe O'Neill, aye.
Stocker, aye.
Carol, aye. We'll sign the form.
You are all invited.
Okay, we'll be
Whether
there.
it's a decade birthday or not.
Yeah.
Pardon me? I might be out of town that day.
I know, I was out of town last year. Okay, all right. Town administrator updates.
I'm gonna keep it short. I received a resume today from a person who's interested in both jobs.
Oh, great. Let the land use clerk and the administrative
Yeah.
secretary, great.
And my concern is that as written, they're over 40 hours. And I can't.
Oh, combine it, if you
Yeah.
combine it, okay.
Yeah, I know Linda used to do it and we would keep it balanced at 40. So I've left her a message, I'll have to talk to her, but that's one concern about doing both jobs.
Okay.
And I potentially the second person, asking a lot of questions, and it appears that he must know somebody interested in the land use clerk. And I'm very optimistic that he might, there might be a second person really focused on the land use.
Okay.
Great.
And hopefully we can figure it out between those two things quickly.
Great. Okay, excellent. Anything else?
Not today.
All right, and we meet again in 2 weeks. Yes. Just want to make sure there's no changes
If
in the
not
schedule.
before.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
if
it's
not
not open.
before. What is that date?
The 24th.
24th, okay. Just make sure I have it down. Oh, there it is, it's right here. Okay, all right, so the select board is going to have an executive session. So folks who are, I'll just read again as I did. We're having an executive session for reason number 3 to discuss strategy with respect to litigation. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the government's litigating position, litigation is specific to a complaint received from Coles regarding the Shutesbury Solar bylaw Pure Sky and Coles. Town council is joining us, and we will record the executive session in a roll call vote, and we will not be reconvening in open session after the, thanks. Okay, so, do I hear a motion to move into executive session for reason number 3?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker,
Carol, aye. And I just want to make sure, Donna, you are alone? Okay,
You're also
You're
muted.
muted. Okay.
Are we going back? We're not going back?
We're not going back.
Okay, so I'm just gonna stop the video. I'm
Okay.
gonna shut this off, I'm gonna end right
No,
now.
no, we can't, Donna's there. You need Donna only after the recording.
Sorry.
I know, I thought the same thing.
I'll stop tweeting.
Okay, so I have just a couple of things to
We're good to
hand
go now.
out.
Oh, extras?
This is not from last night. I assume whatever you had from last night, you need to return to me.
Okay.
This is some additional material from today. Give one of these to Becky too.
Well, since mine was in my office, mine's decorated
All right.
to keep it from anybody.
Would you want to hold on to it for the meeting and then hand it through?
Yeah, I doubt you're gonna need it, but,
Okay.
all right, so if you recall last night, we met with the planning board, and then the planning board met just on their own, and Donna was not at that portion of the meeting either. And the planning board was asked to discuss their reactions to the proposal from Pure Sky and Coles for the 5 different sites. The reason we were, the timing was because we have a meeting scheduled.
Oh, it keeps, I'm sorry, hold on a second.